Alright everyone, hello and welcome back. I'm Nerbomatic, and in this video today we are going to be doing another Squadron Command mission. This time the level 57 Heavensward Dungeon, the Vault. And this time I'm going to be playing through on my Samurai. Should be seeing come into the frame in just a moment here. Nice slow pan. So this is the second to last dungeon available that you can do in Squadron Command missions. And we have been doing quite a bit of this, trying to grind those squadron levels. In fact, we're very close now to getting our last, or I should say our other DPS squadron member up to level 60 so that we can move on to the level 60 dungeon. Which I'm actually not sure what dungeon that is yet. We should be finding out pretty soon. I know I've seen the name on the list probably a million times, but I haven't paid attention because we're not able to do it yet, so what's the point, right? Anyhow, in this dungeon we have, I believe, 4 groups of enemies to get through before the first boss. We just finished off the first one there, obviously, and the second group is in this hallway here. Let's see if how much of an effort my tank puts into picking all these things up. The squadron AI is not particularly impressive, but it does good enough that you can get through a dungeon. Most of the time, anyway. There are some occasional issues. Well, I've never not been able to finish a dungeon, put it that way. But there are some times where the behavior is very strange. Anyhow, it's all pretty straightforward, just a lot of area of effect attacks. Alright, that was group 2 down, moved on to group 3. But you can kind of pull this group and the 4th group at roughly the same time. But again, given the kind of unpredictable nature of the Squadron AI, it's not always a safe bet. Alright, last group, I think this is just a group of 3. So obviously with the real human players, you could very easily pull these last 2 groups together, no problem. But, yeah, trying to get these AI to do that, a little bit of a different ask. Either way, we'll make short work of this. And then we'll be moving on to the first boss fight. There's actually a little group of kind of trash enemies in the boss arena that you have to deal with before you properly start the fight, but we'll see that in just a moment here as we round these stairs. Yeah, so there, Sir Adelphil Brightblade is the boss, but they haven't fully engaged, so to speak, at this point in the fight. Sometimes this happens. I don't understand why. Very annoying. Alright, so begins the first fight. This boss will start with an area of effect. Just a moment here, they're going to target me with what would normally be a randomly decided group member attack. But since I'm the only human player, this will always attack me. We'll probably see that attack at least one more time. Yeah, damn it. I was going to say, I might be able to get this attack off before this phase, but I guess not. And here again is another attack that would randomly target a party member, but since I'm the only human here, it just automatically attacks me. Kind of annoyingly stuck against this wall here, so there we go. I'm getting attacked again. Wow, they really were stuck against that wall. Anyway, that's the first boss dealt with. They have a couple things to say before they take off. And I believe you will see all these bosses again in one of the duties for Heavensward. Can't remember what it's called. It wasn't a very popular one from what I recall. You didn't really do that fight very often. Certainly now, if you're just going through the main story quest, you'll have to do it the one requisite time, just in order to advance the plot, and then probably never see it again. Small group here, and there's another 2 enemies around the corner just beyond me there. In a normal group, obviously you would just pull all these enemies together, fight them as one pack. I might play around with doing this on one of my tank jobs, just to see how difficult it is to have the AI keep me alive, because they definitely struggle with that as well. Why did my ability cancel there? Interesting. About done with this little pack. And yeah, around the corner here in this room we'll have these 2 suits of armor to deal with. Pretty straightforward. Alright, one down. The Black Nebula is an area of effectability that will hit all of your party members. Pretty easy to use an off cooldown stun, knock them out of that. We have one more hallway, the other side of this loading screen. Yeah. There'll be one group of 3 enemies, and then a group of 2 mechanical horse knights. Actually, don't know what the heck they're called. But all pretty basic stuff. Just do your normal AoE attacks. So you get down to 2 or less enemies. Finish this guy off. Like my teammates were attacking this one, as per usual. Okay. Now they're just called knights, okay. Black and white. Simple enough. And then right on the other side of that gate is going to be our second boss. He's probably the most annoying fight in here. just because of the way that their abilities work. And most certainly because of our AI teammates and the way that they react to those mechanics. Alright, and like with the first boss, they start out the fight in kind of a normal human phase, and then they'll become something else, which we should be seeing in just a moment here.
I will not yield to you.
Okay.
I have the power.
Alright, now this boss will turn around to target me. Just a moment here, and they'll use a line attack. And pretty easily avoid that. And that will put to that kind of black hole looking thing along the wall there. Now if you get too close to that, it will put a stacking damage debuff on you. And then they'll use that ability that knocks you away from them. And they'll also put this area of effect ability on the ground, which is also very annoying to deal with. So I'm going to try to manipulate them in such a way that they'll put those on the same side of the room. Alright. Tank is making it as hard as possible to actually land my attacks on the boss. But they're dealt with, so there we go. Easy done. So as long as you can avoid moving too close to or getting knocked into those black holes and getting the stacking damage debuff, I guess it's a vulnerability debuff. So it just increases the amount of damage you take. As long as you can avoid that, you're in pretty good shape. Now with the human tank, they can pretty easily maneuver away from those things so that it's pretty easy to avoid, but Squadron AI, as you might expect, makes it more difficult. Alright, just got two of these Face of the Heroes to get through. And then we got another black and white knight around the corner here. And then we'll have an exterior hallway to navigate, where there'll be two different groups of enemies we'll have to get through. These enemies are pretty easy. They'll occasionally do I think a randomly targeted line area of effect ability that's really easy to avoid. But yeah, just do your normal damage routine and avoid that line AoE. Those are really easy to deal with. Alright, so we'll have one small group of enemies here to deal with. And then up these stairs going to the right, in a room there'll be one enemy by themselves, and as we kill them they will awaken a group of gargoyles or some such. 4 of them that you'll have to deal with. Nothing terribly challenging, but it was very surprising the first time I encountered it years ago. Yeah, these gargoyles in the corners of the room. We'll awaken them in a moment here. Now I think you could, at a point in the past, do enough damage to him that he couldn't summon the gargoyles or awaken them. But that seems to not be the case anymore. It seems pretty much impossible to avoid that. They'll be doing some area effect attacks here in a moment. Like so. Alright, and then we'll have a short cinematic as we go up these stairs to the left and face the last boss of this dungeon. I realize these cinematics don't really make that much sense because you have no context for what's going on. But if you play through the main story, you'll understand what's going on by the time you get here. Or at least mostly. Alright, and this fight is arguably much easier than the second boss. Now there's a mechanic that is kind of absent in this fight with the squadron because there's an ability that this boss uses that will put a damaging ability between two different party members. And those two party members will have to move away from each other to end that damaging effect. And apparently, SOE decided that they would just not have the boss use that ability in these Squadron Command missions. I guess trying to get the AI to react properly to that mechanic is just impossible, or too much work for justifying its worth in programming changes. Alright, so that was the first phase of the fight. Now some fireballs will appear around the room. Yeah, these holy flames. You have to destroy these. I imagine you take some significant amount of area effect damage if you fail it, or just outright die, would be my guess. Okay. It's harsh. Alright, so same as before. Do this kind of arena-wide area of effect attack. He will summon damaging area effect attacks, that one, on the ground. There's circular, and he'll continue summoning these knights. And they just walk straight across the room. You just have to avoid being run into by them. I'll go ahead and limit break now. And we win. So that's it, everyone. That is Heavensward Dungeon, the Vault on Samurai at level 57. Pretty fun dungeon. If you've gone through the leveling of a side job process before, you know you have to spend a lot of time here in this level range. And you probably get tired of it, but outside of that, it is a pretty fun dungeon. Alright everyone, well thanks for watching. I will be getting some more of these videos up soon. I think I'm going to start kind of at the lowest level dungeons that you can do with Squadron, and work my way through them, probably with a different job each time if I can. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, come back and check out the channel again soon. All right, y'all. Until the next time, take care. All right, bye.